Den vilda och karga svenska västkusten. Ett himmelrike för kapare, sillkungar och annat slodder. Livet i den bohuslänska skärgården har alltid varit starkt bundet till havet och gåvorna havet ger från sitt djup. När sillen kom in bodde öborna i överflöd och rikedom. Men när sillen plötsligt försvann efter påtiden så föll öborna ner i ett förskräcklig fattigdom och vedermöda. Skärgården är svår att navigera med starka strömmar och lömska grund. Sjöjungfrun styr över havet, vågorna och alla djupets varelser. Och sägs ha en fiskstjärt istället för ben, en urgröpt fiskfjäderstäckt rygg och gälar. Sjöfarare var visa nog att blidka henne med offergåvor. Hon kunde belöna det som erbjöd henne gåvor med gynnsamma vindar eller stora fiskfångster. Men å den andra sidan, det som inte erbjöd henne något, kunde hon straffa genom att skicka stormar eller placera isberg i deras väg.
Hello everyone and welcome to now officially almost season 2 of Vaesen. We had our little interlude that will be recapped for you very shortly. But first we'll go around and say hello to our players. I'll skip the person who just hurt themselves and we'll just start with Mikyl, who did our character art and even upgraded my portrait to match my actual hair. Thank you very much.
Hi, fam. I'm Mikyl Sandoval. You can find me at Mikyl Sandoval on Twitter and on Instagram. And there goes Baker. I play Comric, the American officer in this game of Vaesen.
Thank you very much. Wilde.
Yes, hello all. I'm Wilde. I'm here on Twitch and Twitter. And I am playing Frederick, the servant to Linnea. And I think I was trying to get her out of a maybe bad situation. Who knows anymore? Possibly good. Maybe there's wedding bells or something. I don't know.
I mean, who knows indeed. Speaking of wedding bells, Eva.
I feel like every time we come across a situation, we are inherently suspicious and avoid it actively.
For no good reason.
And kind of wreck it and our reputations. And it turned out to have been, something very nice. Hi, hello, I am Eva. This is sort of my channel, except it's no fun to me if I don't share it with my friends. So here we all are. And I will be playing your private detective today, Miss Linnea, who's probably not getting married, at least today. Did I not say Linnea? I'm sure I said
You did. I was hoping for Toby to go know the other Linnea, but Toby isn't playing along.
That is weird.
Baker, are you good? Can we try?
Yep.
Baker!
Hi, I'm Baker. I play Astrid, your local Chaos Goblin, and you can find me on Twitch. Picture one. Dear God, Instagram. I mainly post pictures of food. I'm gonna bye.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Baker plays Astrid, the other local Chaos Gremlin. / poisoner.
The botanical one.
/ occultist. She's fine. They're both fine. She does it all. They do it all. I don't know
Yes.
how. My name is Anniek. I am the GM. I herd cats, and I play everybody else. I'm sometimes on Twitter, but sometimes I'm also not on Twitter.
Sometimes you're on the picture one, right? No?
I don't think I usually go on the picture one. I do sometimes go on the clock app, but I never post on the clock app. I just marvel at my For You page. The clock app knows me very well. Anywho, back to Vaesen. Baker, if you could mute yourself. Because we have to pay attention to Mikyl, who is going to recap the previous episode.
Well, when we last met our Vaesen vanquishing adventurers, I found myself on the shore of a washed up area near a small fishing village south of Uppsala. I was able to find a few clues, but then encountered a large Vaesen. It was like we shared our collective thoughts and memories until it was gone. And then I was knee deep in the water of the bay. I hightailed it back to the castle where I found no one was home. Mr. Frisk explained that Astrid and Frederick had accompanied Miss Linnea back to her family's estate to speak with her mother and a potential suitor. Interesting. Meanwhile, Linnea and her suitor, Johann Nystrom, were found meeting for the first time in a long while in the family's garden. It seems that Johann is a country boy with a good heart. Per usual, Frederick kept a close eye on Miss Linnea while playing the part of a gardener himself. Unfortunately, the nurse's maid working for Miss Linnea's mother was not amused and had him removed. This all went down while Miss Astrid was gallivanting around the Holmgren home, taking samples of different plant species. The garden was bustling with life this day. I decided to clean myself up and present myself to the lady of the house, Elise Holmgren. She knew exactly whom I was and greeted me with some polite pushback. So she does have a mole and a source of inside information, which is not news to me. Every piece of furniture, every book, even the way she dresses was absolutely flawless. She's a planner, very precise with her instructions. This makes things predictable for her and creates structured strategies. Lady Elise is proud of her accomplishments and accolades, incorporating them into all the rooms to show her power and wealth and status that her family holds. She's quite protective of her image, not necessarily her family, but the status that the image and her station brings. I ruffled some feathers, as I usually do, but I got some great information from just a small 10-minute back and forth with her. You see, you can't assess an enemy without properly sitting down and drinking tea with them. Then, and only then, can you see their motivations and all their flaws. You see, you can't see the imperfection from afar. No, you have to be up close and personal for that one. Push them outside their comfort zone and offend someone to their face, and you'll see the true character rise to the surface. Funny how most nobles think tact is all about image, but lose their cool under fire. She gave me all the information I need, all in her actions, especially when she dismissed me from her home after hearing words she did not like. Cool as ice, calm as a pond. Always observe your surroundings and slow and steady, because steady is fast.
Can I just
Thank
point
you.
out?
Maybe. What are you pointing out?
Astrid didn't make anyone mad, and we were all concerned that Astrid was gonna be the problem, and she wasn't.
That's true.
This is true.
Astrid is never truly the problem.
She's never intentionally the problem.
I
will say-
a problem that she wasn't the problem.
While Sarah and I were coming up with Elise, and we were talking about how she would probably react to various PCs, the first thing we said was, "Oh God, she's gonna hate Kumrick."
Oh, yes.
Just first thing we knew. So I'm glad it will work out. Thinking. Wilde, you briefly dropped out at the end of the last episode due to internet connectivity issues. So we sort of frog marched you through the gardens to the front of the house, where you were basically told to stay put and behave after you tried to distract the definitely just a lady's maid. Nothing weird about her.
Of course not.
And you got busted. So was there anything else you would have wanted Frederick to do last time that you didn't get to do, that you want to shore up now?
The question is, are we technically still at the mansion, or?
Like, I'm perfectly happy to do, like, to round off the mansion with you still there.
I mean, the only other thing I would have done was, you know, try and prepare an escape horse for Linnea in the event of.
Okay, easy enough. You do work for Elise, so you can quite simply just go to the stables and have a proper riding horse prepared. Just in case. The last thing we did at last episode was, of course, a seance, as performed by Astrid, together with Linnea. I had you both send me your questions privately. Comric, I think, was not involved at all. And this is just for me to get my head straight to, like, who knows what. Because Comric also hasn't shared the beach yet because he hasn't actually had time to talk to you yet. So, reminding myself of the partitions of what people know. Linnea, your date is concluded pretty much by your mother. You know, have to keep things proper. No spending hours together when you're first starting out. But as he'll go home. He'll be good. And your mother is quite pleased with the progress that's been made today. Sort of goes, I'm glad you don't find each other abhorrent, at least. And, you know, you're getting a bit of leeway because of your behavior so far. So what I was going to say what the suggestion is, but you're perfectly aware it's not a suggestion. What is going to happen is that Johan gets permission to court you officially. Like, you'll be allowed to go on dates together, depending how it goes eventually without a chaperone. But he has been given to understand that this is going to be a long-term thing. Like, this isn't going to be done in a few weeks. This is going to take, like, there'll be a lot of time between dates, so you have time to do your own bullshit. That's not how Elise puts it, but that's the trade-off. You're trading in, I'm going to give this a fair shake for a certain amount of freedom. Because right now, your reputation is being courted, which gives you more freedom than openly available. And it also helps protect your sister's reputation, because now she doesn't have to wait for you to get taken care of in a non-murdery way.
Wow, so behaving actually, like, gets me somewhere?
Who knew?
Mikyl?
Frederick knew the whole time.
Hence the horse.
I mean,
No,
you
it's
could
like-
know and still enable.
But, you know, having come to this arrangement, you are free to leave the townhome. There is still a, you know, if you're going to do things that are terrible for your reputation, at least don't do them here.
Here being...
The greater Uppsala area.
There. That seems quite reasonable.
I agree. I'm glad we're both seeing reason. With that in mind, you have a date with Johan in 2 weeks' time, where you will be going to an outdoor concert together. He will collect you from the townhome and not from the castle.
Coward. Okay.
Fairly certain that's your mom's arrangement, because the castle is still not a very proper place. Maybe with a few more upgrades, it might look less haunted, dilapidated, like a drug den.
I feel like upgrading the front and like doing yard work, like
Maybe
the
yard work,
front
bit of
is
masonry,
not a high
fixing
priority.
the front gate, that sort of the roof.
I mean, everyone knows the best houses are the ones that look like they're about to fall down on the outside and are great on the inside.
If it's still standing, what is it? The bones are good. Something.
So
Yeah, flip my castle. Yeah.
Point of interest: parts of the castle are not in fact standing. You're aware of this.
Yeah, but the parts that are.
The important parts are.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm
And
glad you all have low standards.
And we now have a shiny new greenhouse.
You met us.
I have. You have a shiny new greenhouse and a shiny new gardener. Mr. Coxswain's very good at his job.
And Astrid is going to eventually try to convince him to do the yard as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to have to increase his wages.
Maybe kill a few things out in the garden first.
Yeah, you might want a groundskeeper for that.
Yeah, true.
Excuse me. Question.
Yes.
Rollo is still having his convalescence.
With currently no sign of improvement, yes.
Okay, two things. One, have we called a doctor?
Have you?
I would like to
feel
think
like
we
we
would
would've.
have
I mean, he saw a doctor in the town we were at when it happened. So
Right.
He did.
who turned out not to be terrible.
No.
He was actually a good guy, yeah.
It's actually
I'm just,
quite good.
every time someone turns out not to be terrible, you're shocked and surprised.
I think we are the terrible ones.
He wanted to
Like if I make
Astrid.
everybody horrible, it's no fun. You have to guess who's horrible.
So I feel like we absolutely would have, upon returning to our castle, found a local, like, does he have a Rolodex that we could flip through to see, like, a local doctor?
You have a caretaker, you have a butler that can.
Did the butlers seem to get on with Rollo?
Yes.
More than, he hates us, but okay. So
Yes. It was more of a. Apparently, they were around each other long enough to have had a sort of grudging respect. Otherwise, one of them would have already be dead or gone.
okay, yeah, I feel like we would have asked Mr. Frisk, or a local boy passing on the street, like, you there, is there a doctor that could see to our benefactor?
We're gonna skip the random boy in the street, but your butler knows several doctors, but he's going to recommend the one that has been known to keep their mouths shut regarding some of the more suspicious circumstances of certain injuries that were suffered by society members. Not every doctor sees claw marks and goes, yeah, that's normal.
Fair. Okay. Good. So he does have a doctor who is seeing to him.
Yes. He's being well tended.
Who is society friendly.
Who's society friendly.
You have a society-friendly doctor.
In this hypothetical Rolodex, do we have any sort of... Or would Mr. Frisk know? I feel like this is an awkward question to ask him. Who to talk to about payment, like, of said doctor, or if we did want to up Frisk's pay or something at some point?
Frisk is currently the one paying the doctor out of castle funds.
Mm-hmm.
With Rollo out, they are looking at sending another more senior Artemis member here to help you deal with things. But no one's
So they are aware
arrived. Yes.
Good.
They're probably going to move someone from Rose House.
Okay.
Which is the London chapter of the society.
Is there a way that I could look through my journal and kind of see if there was anything written on how these funds come about?
Your journal or the one you took from Rollo?
Well, thanks for telling everybody, Anniek.
Well, they didn't.
Well, I guess they already knew. They saw it.
They already knew. They saw you. They heard it last time.
Yes, Rollo's journal. I'd like to.
I mean, there is a society bank account that you can access in Uppsala if you have the proper credentials, and the credentials are handed out by higher level Artemis Society members.
Mm-hmm. Can I see what was kind of what he used to kind of hide the society's? Because in the past they had used different methods of kind of being aristocrats and hiding what the society truly was.
Yep.
Can I go back and see what like the most recent was?
Most recent was Rollo pretending to be not so much an aristocrat, but more I want to say loner, but without the negative connotation. He basically went full on hermit librarian and leaned into that. And he was like, I just want a quiet place to study and I'll fix it up slowly. And he very much went, he clearly said he wasn't rich enough to do the whole castle at once, which is also why his regular trips to the bank weren't suspicious, because he was like, no, I'm doing it up a bit at a time, etc. But he went full, I wanted a quiet place to study. Which is also why there's a fair amount of gossip about the fact that he hasn't been seen in town in a while, and the fact that, you're all here there now as well, right. And they're like, I thought he wanted peace and quiet, The butler makes sense, but what the hell's the rest doing there? With a fair amount of 2 women, not bad.
His nieces and nephews. We're helping.
Yes, look at these stunning family resemblance.
We were orphans, mister.
I mean, if you want to try and make the cover of Returning This into an Orphanage, we're gonna have a great time throwing random children at you. So
you wouldn't let me have the boy in the street, but now we can have an orphanage? Wow, okay.
I mean, do you want to take the boy in the street and turn him into an orphan so you can start an orphanage?
Are his
well,
parents
it got
bad?
dark
Do
real
they need
quick.
Taken care of?
Yeah.
He has lovely parents.
They just seem lovely.
Roll insight? No.
Again, we don't trust anyone.
What did I do to deserve this?
You sent out invites?
Anyway, with the arrangements made for your date in 2 weeks and Elise's turning a blind eye to some of your more questionable lifestyle choices, provided you don't make them within a certain radius of where you're currently living, you are free to return to Castle Gyllencruetz.
Good.
Preferably,
Hopefully.
after dark, where people can't see you as much.
Hopefully with the rest of my compatriots, but yes.
That's up to your
I feel like-
compatriots.
Yeah, I feel like Comric would have already been there. He left, went back to the castle. He needed a long rest.
You really did.
So did Linnea, but she needed to let her stomach settle first.
They went real well with that powder.
I don't know.
There was some awkward groaning, but Johan ignored it like a champ.
Hero.
Are you managing to drag Astrid along, or is she still elbow deep in the rose beds? I was afraid. How is Astrid getting home?
That is exactly what Astrid would look like.
Hi!
Huh? What?
Honestly, if she missed the carriage because she wasn't paying attention, she
That
would
tracks.
just walk.
Fair enough. You get home several hours later. And of course, Frederick would never let Linnea travel alone.
No, I knew
Right.
that.
It's hard to miss the carriage when you set it up.
Yes. And yet, somehow, I'm sure one day you'll manage.
If Astrid did walk, in addition, she's got like a backpack on that she stole from Linnea's mom. Not stole, borrowed. That the
We're
gardener-
gifted. She doesn't want anything back from you. It is
Yeah.
now officially used goods.
And she's also picking stuff as she's walking along. And she finds a pretty rock and gives it to Linnea.
Okay.
Thank
Can
It's very thoughtful
you-
and pretty.
Could you please just roll an observation test for me, Astrid?
Yeah, of course. Observation 2. That is empathy 5. And I only get the plus dice when I'm doing scanning.
Yes.
Don't fail me now. Oh god. Okay, one just ran into the other room, so I'm gonna roll a different one.
Fair enough.
It ran.
It did not want to be involved with this.
No, I got 2 6s.
2 6s. You successfully managed to avoid confusing Hemlock and St. Anne's Lace.
Oh, so I have Saint Anne. Oh no, I just have more hemlock. Okay, cool.
You just have more Hemlock. All right. Back at the castle, we have Frederick, Linnea, and Comric already there. While Astrid is still walking. Are there any, or in the carriage, whichever works for you three. Mind you, the driver can hear you. This is not an era of soundproof carriages. Anything you need to discuss? Scheme, plot, plan, share, group hug, or are you just like avoiding eye contact because this was awkward in separate rooms?
In the carriage, still feeling a bit woozy, Linnea's just going to probably weakly smile over at Frederick. Wait, Frederick, sometimes you ride on the outside of the carriage as befits your station.
Right.
Are you inside or outside?
You've requested me to be inside?
Probably.
Then I'm
Well,
inside.
yeah. And just a quick thank you for all you tried to do today. I'm going to try and sleep most of the way back. But it looks like we have a little bit more time anyway.
Okay. Did you enjoy your walk with the... What's the best way to put it?
I didn't immediately feel like using any of Astrid's more dubious concoctions on him. That's about as good as it gets, I'm afraid.
You didn't immediately run away, so I guess that's a good sign.
It could certainly be worse. Oh. It could still be worse, but it's not great. Excuse me. I think we're in the era where these windows might roll down a bit, though. So maybe a bit of fresh air. Or slide down, I guess, not roll down.
Slide down.
Slide down windows.
Like, make sure the little curtains are well out of the way.
Perhaps next time we should make sure your, I guess, date, as I should call it, is in an area that you are more suited for. You know, not necessarily in your mother's garden.
I think that is a perfect idea.
Maybe you can try and take up a case and see if he can help you out. See what connections he actually has.
I like this. I like this when we think kind of on the same... on the same path. Yeah, we'll see what use he can be.
I mean,
but I don't know how I feel about having to say this to multiple people, but I think he's worth keeping alive.
I would not have suggested otherwise.
No.
Have you said that to other people, Miss Linnea?
I just feel that sometimes I need to be more explicit than others, and it's just... I need a damp cloth.
Perhaps it's a good sign that you are not immediately going towards someone should or should not be alive.
I feel like the last month or so have really helped me grow in my, not necessarily my vocabulary, but in my specific choice of words, at least.
Indeed.
I love the idea of this conversation happening and Comric just sort of going out the window.
Oh, I thought Comric left immediately.
No, I would have been back at the castle. Yeah, I would have left on my own.
I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
Linnea also
I don't want to
something
be there
say
for
to
that
him.
conversation.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
I would not have just been ignoring him completely.
Fair enough. Frederick and Linnea are deposited back at the castle where Comric already is.
There's one more thing I would want to say.
Yeah,
Linnea.
Please do.
And just, taking a look around, is like, well, considering that it's just us, perhaps it would be good for you to have a good influence around this time.
You mean you? You are still coming on.
Oh, no, I'm always around. I mean, aside from your newest friend.
Oh, you worried me. I thought. I never know what you and Mother get up to in your private conversations sometimes, so don't scare me like that.
Sometimes it's both more and less than I realize.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I mean, from my gatherings, not much was said of your new friend, so perhaps she's not even on the radar of your mother.
Currently, I hope to keep it that way and just sort of ease them into a friendlier something. I think that went well, though. I think that went well. All things told.
Certainly could have gone worse.
Question. Since we were stealing the gardener's nephew to become our gardener, is the gardener's nephew with Astrid walking back?
No.
Okay.
The gardener's nephew wasn't actually working for Elise.
Okay.
You're stealing him from someone else, so
Okay.
it's being arranged.
Okay. I just wanted to check, like, if he was with Astrid.
No, the gardener just went. No. The gardener will arrange for his nephew to come work for you. Beautiful. Comric, do you want to do anything in the castle before everybody else shows up?
Yeah, Comric would first take a nice little nap.
Smart. Very smart.
Return the regal clothes back to Rollo's closet.
That tracks. Yep.
Making sure that anything that needed to be washed would go into the wash, and meet up with Mr. Frisk and assure him that everyone was fine, because I know he was worried.
He was worried. He's also complaining about the amount of laundry now that you all live here, because that's also on him.
Don't worry,
no
I'll
other
help.
staff.
Yes. I would, yeah. As he says, as he grumbles, I would venture to help him out also, since I do know that type of work. So, and then I'd get a quick nap. But I think I would nap down in the library, trying to search any CVs and to see if there was anything written about what I had saw at the shoreline.
Okay.
But I'd probably be found in there, passed out.
So you're found there, passed out, a bestiary and some children's book, one in each hand. Frederick and Linnea arrive not too far behind you if they want to have a moment in the castle, and otherwise we can happily skip to like 1 a.m. when Astrid shows up.
Two things, because I always have two things. One, would we have passed
Tradition.
Astrid? Like, because I feel like we wouldn't have left without at least, if Astrid was still there, saying like, hey, come with us. Or if we passed her saying, hey, you jumping on in? Like,
No, more like Astrid was informed that her party's carriage would be leaving in 15 minutes.
okay, yeah.
And simply didn't show up for it.
Yeah. I just wanted to be sure that's how that
So he
happened.
sort of went, well, she's technically an adult, we'll just go.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I think...
I mean, Frederick saw her in the garden. Frederick probably went, she'll be a while.
Yeah,
She's-
well, and she'd be
yeah.
fine at the estate, at the townhouse.
Of course, like your mother would let anything happen to her.
Yeah, no.
She would wait for a much more opportune moment to have anything happen to Astrid should the need arise.
I feel like Astrid would have like sent someone along to be like, no, I'm gonna stay here. We're having a really good conversation.
Yeah.
And like, she just would have hung out with like, because Astrid's not highborn. She would have just been perfectly fine having dinner with the gardeners and just talking about gardening stuff.
Yeah, and Linnea
Basically.
would have been placated by having a servant be like, the servant probably wouldn't have rolled their eyes, but yeah, passing.
They never.
No, not where
No.
I could see.
Same thing.
In which case, Linnea at least would probably do a quick turn through the castle, check in on Rollo. I'm gonna
Still
assume,
drooling.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming there's no change. And you said Comric was sleeping in the library?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covered in books. A really weird assortment of books.
I think seeing that, Linnea wouldn't want to disturb him, but she's just going to take a slip of paper and write, because she has no idea what, I can't imagine Elise would have relayed that conversation and there was no time for Comric to,
Oh no,
if he wanted
you have no
to.
idea.
Um,
You just saw him stomp through the grounds and be redirected.
yeah, I think she's just going to write a note.
A saunter. Saunter is different than stomping.
Fine. Saunter.
Just a wee bit, just a little.
It's hard to tell from the far end of the garden.
But he showed up, and that's what mattered.
Yes.
And so she's just gonna write a little note that says, "Thank you for coming." Or probably just that, and then just sign it with an L, and leave it on top of one of the books that's like not on his lap or anywhere it's gonna get like shuffled off easily.
Okay.
Maybe put something like on it so that he can't miss it when he gets up. Not like covering it, but you know, little paperweight stuff. And then she's gonna go to bed.
Okay. Bed, sleeping in the library.
Sorry.
I was gonna ask if Frederick was doing anything in particular. Maybe also help with laundry.
Yeah, just his general thing. Make sure Linnea's room was perfectly fine and not care about everyone else's.
Tracks. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when Linnea gets to her room, there's this beautiful bowl of fresh potpourri that looks like it got picked by a toddler with dexterity issues. But it smells okay.
Perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
Perfectly serviceable. Frederick, did you do this?
Picked with love and no skill.
That's the most meaningful, though. This is above and beyond. You've never done anything like this before.
No, I usually do, man. You just don't notice.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. You are busy with your detective work.
You just have so many silent skills and thoughtfulness, that I wish I noticed, and so I could appreciate them. She's just gonna like awkwardly stand there, probably wringing her hands a little bit, because
Just each attention is Frederick's gonna be like, just doing my duties, ma'am. Just do a little pat on the head.
my heart. The last thing Linnea will do before bed is just write one more note that says, please let me know you got home safe with an L and slip it under Astrid's store.
Astrid, you arrive to a sleeping castle. Ish. Can you just for the sake of things roll vigilance for me, please? Don't make that face, Mikyl. You're not even in this scene.
Well, I got 4 4s.
4 4s.
4 4s.
Beautiful. You're on this, I was going to say high, but not like a herbal high, but a different kind of herbal high. You're just so happy with your plans.
Well, so that leads into what Astrid does first when she gets to the house.
Yeah, I'm talking about before you get to the house, when you go through the gate and into the garden.
Oh.
And you're not vigilant enough to notice certain things.
Okay.
Until suddenly there's this sharp pinch at your ankle and you sort of land flat on your butt. And something skitters away into the undergrowth.
All right. Astrid's going to go inside and probably look at her ankle real quick.
Tiny, tiny teeth marks.
Given that she now has I'm going to do a medicine check.
Okay. Feel free to roll your medicine check.
Damn. 3 6s.
3 6s. I mean, you should probably clean it so it doesn't get infected.
Okay.
But in general, pixie bites aren't the worst.
Okay, yeah, no, I figured the medicine check was how well I cleaned it out and stuff like that. And me, like, looking at it. So after she does that, she's going to go up to Rollo's room.
Okay. Still happily drooling away.
And she's going
Actually, at this point, they would have tucked him in.
I lost my page. She's going
As
to
you do.
sit down and she's going to pull out one of the flowers, probably a little bit smushed, and she's like, Rollo, this is heal-all. And, well, it doesn't have a lot of natural medicinal purposes. I've been reading more up on magical, which I can't do, but apparently it can be used when all hope is lost for healing magic. And maybe if I can learn something, I can fix you. And we can make you better. And we don't have to lose someone else. And I'm sorry. And then she'll just kind of wander off to go, like, hang up all of the plants and do all of that stuff. And then she's gonna go to the library and, like, just, like, take off the dress because she doesn't want to be in it anymore. And she's going to, like, curl up in a chair and just start reading a book.
Okay.
And then
Comric was near enough exhaustion that he doesn't wake up as you strip in front of him.
I feel like she keeps clothes in the library because she sleeps in there so much.
Okay, so you basically, like, turn Linnea's hideously expensive dress into, like, a pillow.
Yes.
You're sleeping near Comric. And we will move on to the following morning. Because at this point you all need a proper rest or you're going to get exhausted. So I'm going to assume there's no shenanigans. The following morning, Linnea, you are awoken by a knock on your door.
Frederick usually just comes in, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Frederick's usually already there before you notice him.
Yeah.
You're not sure if he comes in quietly or just never leaves. It's hard to tell.
Technically, isn't his room off of mine?
Yeah, he's basically en suite to you.
Yeah.
'Cause you wouldn't have.
Especially after the day before. She's gonna lay there for a moment.
It is usually the day after, the day before, yes.
Look.
Technically.
There's fairies and spirits and stuff. Who knows what could happen in this world?
No, you're fine, keep going. It just sounded really funny.
But she's gonna lay there for a moment and, honestly, I'm not proud of this for her. She's gonna wait and see if Frederick gets the door.
The knock returns a little sharper.
I don't think it's probably too polite to yell across the room, so she will slowly make her way out of bed, not open the door, and just... Hello? Yes? Who is it?
Are you assuming there's a lot of options as to who would knock on your door in the society stronghold? It is clearly the voice of Frisk. Fisk, sorry.
Oh, it could have been you, it could have been,
Your friends don't tend to knock. I don't care if you're decent, I have a letter for you.
She'll open the door, that's fine. Probably rubbing her eye because the night before the day of, was kind of rough. Sorry, Morning, brain. Thank you, Mr. Fisk. You did say Fisk, right? Fisk.
Yeah, your general.
Yes.
Your person.
Yes, I want to be sure I'm using his proper name because. And if he is already holding the letter out, she will extend her hand.
He is.
To take it.
Seeing as you currently don't have anyone overseeing your party, I assumed you'd be the one to give this to. The only other semi-responsible one is asleep in the library.
I appreciate it. I will wake everyone and attend to this immediately. Thank you.
He's already shuffling away because he's making breakfast, he's tending to shit. Like, there's too much work just for him. And, to him, you're just a lowly new society member.
Sure.
He's just not that impressed by your ladydom.
Her rule of thumb is to not be a jerk to anyone who makes her food. So,
that is a very good rule.
Closing the door behind her, what does this letter look like?
It looks like it's traveled a while. The front, it's still sealed. Front of the letter says to whom it may concern, and then the address of Castle Gyllencruetz. And it has it is sealed, but not with a ring or symbol you recognize.
She's going to pop the seal probably in a careful way to try and keep it whole. As she makes her way to the closet to put something casual and easy and reasonably proper for meeting everyone. And
If you've popped the seal, there is clearly paper inside.
yeah, she'll pull it out and start skimming it just so she has an idea of like the severity of the, you know, what is this concerning.
So there's one. That's not true. There's like a big letter on sort of like matching heavy duty paper, and then there's like a little scrolled piece of paper sort of jammed in with it.
She will start on the big paper as she'll prop it up on like the desk or something as she's getting
Please
dressed.
check your Discord.
Oh God. Okay.
Method acting, skim in real time.
She will put she'll do that thing where when you're trying to multitask, as I was just doing.
And nothing works quite the way you want it to because you're doing too many things at once.
Yeah, so she'll get involved in the letter, so like one arm is kind of paused as she's like trying to shuffle on a bodice or whatever. And then after probably the first paragraph, she'll just kind of hurriedly wrap everything so it's going to stay on. Bang on Frederick's door.
Frederick, are you in your room?
I assume I have a window. Like, what time of day is this?
Late morning. Most of you overslept.
Okay. Frederick, Frederick? It does feel weird that you're not up yet. Frederick.
Yeah, it is quite unusual. Yeah, I'll open the door, and I guess upon seeing Linnea and being so disheveled, immediately start fixing her clothes up for her.
Like, this is clearly the reason you shouldn't let her dress herself.
Mm.
She just forgets halfway through.
Yes, once he's gotten, like, her to the point where it's not, like, offensive that she, like, be seen in public, she's just gonna, you know, hold the letter up and, like, we have a situation. We need to meet in the den, the library. Everyone's probably in the library. Did Astrid make it home? We need to find Astrid. We need to find Comric. I hope they're still in the library. And I would know that Astrid sometimes sleeps in the library, right? Like, it's probably pretty obvious that there's a little Astrid nest. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Frisk does occasionally try to clear it up. Or, like, moves her to a different corner. Like, opposite the one he's trying to work on.
And even as he's trying to reach out and, like, you know, pin up part of her hair or whatever, she's just gonna turn out the door and down the stairs.
I'm fairly certain that Frederick is very used to arranging your clothes on the go.
I am positive.
So years of experience at this point.
What is this? Oh my gosh, it's my own notes. Oh, it's the first episode. That's exciting. Huh.
I mean, you were talking about adding summaries to the YouTube videos, so there you go.
I was, that's true.
Those would also look really good on our website.
I was thinking that too. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just have to summarize everything anyway. She will probably pass through the breakfast area just to make sure that there's not anyone, I don't want to say relevant because that seems rude to Fisk, but anyone that she's currently looking
He
for.
is very relevant. Like, if Frisk wasn't there, this castle would have fallen down around you the second you set foot in it.
Yeah. She's just gonna go in a loop breakfast area den to library, looking for anyone. Are you both still in the library?
Yeah, I'd probably be up, and I went to bed pretty early, so clean up my little mess, and I'd be in the kitchen.
So
When
you
you
see
came
him as
by
you're
the
running
breakfast
through the
nook.
breakfast area.
Comric, hi. Good morning. Have you seen
Good
Astrid?
morning. Last time I saw her, she was in the library.
Perfect.
Where
We're going to the library. Come on.
I will bring this with me.
Do it. Yes. Don't tell
You're
Fisk.
carrying, like, your bits of toast and your tea.
Yes.
And then, I think just leading the pack, she'll just sweep into the library, posing dramatically, like, because they're tall double doors, right? If I recall correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. Holding the letter aloft. We have a calling. Is Astrid awake? I feel like I know the answer to this.
No, she is not.
Yeah.
She got home at 1 a.m. after walking all the way back. And then she talked to Rollo, and then she hung up her plants, and then she started reading. Like, she's like sitting, she's like off the chair at this point, just curled up on the floor.
Can you roll me a force test?
Me?
Whomst.
Yes.
Force.
Force.
One six.
1-6.
I
So
like
you're
these
not-
dice today.
You are not completely exhausted, but you are closer to exhausted than the rest is, and you're going to have to be very careful how you move on.
Okay.
There's like a weird twinge in your back, and this sort of popping sound in your hip from sleeping on a chair after walking for several hours. And there's just that feeling of like your eyes are just a little bit dry.
Okay.
You awake?
You're going to need better sleep soon.
That's why I said she moved to the floor rather than sleeping in the chair.
I
I
point
feel
out
like
that the floor is also not great.
I feel like she has blankets and stuff.
I'll also say that you slept for not enough hours.
This is all fair.
Anywho, Linnea is posing dramatically with a letter in her hand.
Yes. Letter. Everyone, take a seat. Or wake up. Or both. Haha. This just came. For us. I thought this would be easier. I don't think I've ever really been in charge of anything before. But, not that I'm in charge, but I have the letter, so I'm going to read it. But, this arrived this morning. I'm going to read it. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready? Why do you look so
Astrid's-
tired? This is really exciting.
Astrid's like sitting on the floor with like her head between her knees and going, I am listening to whatever you say. I swear, I promise. You're very smart and chipper this morning.
I am super prepared to read this letter in the proper pronunciation. So I'm saying this now as Linnea reads this out loud. Does the GM want to do a fancy voiceover for it?
She does not. She wants you to read it in character. That's why I sent it to you on Discord.
I knew it.
I'm so happy it's not me.
I love reading things out loud. How'st ever. Okay, here we go. This is fine. To whom it may concern. Oh, this is really depressing
Good
and
start.
dark.
Good
so
start.
I should probably.
Very
I'm
good
just
start.
really excited that we have a letter. But it heads up. I know some of you just woke up. It is a little dark. So prepare yourselves.
Take it slow, Miss Linnea. You have it.
Let me
Sound
just
it out.
spam some content warnings there. There we go.
In character content warnings. They're important. To whom it may concern. My name is Oster Udgren, priest in the fishing village of Fjällbacka. It is with a heavy heart that I write these lines. I am at wit's end with my current predicament, and so I turn to you. That's us. He didn't write that. I'm saying that's us. I met with members of your exalted order during my studies in Uppsala a few years ago, and now I place my hope in your particular talents and expertise. My best friend and mentor, Vicar Carl Erik Hedquist, shouldn't have been that hard, is dead. His body was found a week ago, washed up on a beach in the Fjällbacka archipelago. Fjällbacka. The coroner has identified the cause of death as a self-inflicted gunshot to the head and written it off as a suicide. I refuse to accept this conclusion, certain there is something unnatural afoot. That's us, because we do the unnatural thing. I know it didn't really go so well last time, but it worked out in the end. Again, that was me. He didn't write that. Okay, back to his letter. And I know who is responsible. What I lack is proof and the means to do something about it. I last saw Carl Erik alive 1 week before he was found dead. He was once again heading out to Wrecker Isle in the archipelago to bring the word of God to the depraved seafarers frequenting the inn on the island. Wrecker Isle is a hub for maritime traffic and the site of the largest herring saltery in the archipelago. Some days the sea lane is so clogged with boats and ships that people can walk across them halfway to Fjällbacka. Wrecker Isle reeks with herring and sin, a godless stain on this earth. The proprietors of this den of thieves, herring baron Zacharias Admundson, and his mother Abella, whom the locals call the Godmother, are openly defying the teachings of our Lord and have thrown out the good vicar every time he visited Wrecker Isle. I am convinced that the herring baron and the Godmother, along with Zacharias' feeble-minded but dangerous older brothers Paul, Pete, and Pasa, are doing the devil's bidding and are to blame for Carl Erik's untimely death. I shall go to Wrecker Isle to find proof of their guilt and face these henchmen of Satan face to face. I require your assistance in this perilous endeavor. If you cherish your God and wish to help his humble servant in his time of greatest need, meet me in Fjällbacka at your earliest convenience. With highest regards, Oster Udgren.
Astrid looks up and goes, should I be going on this one?
Do you want to read the small bit of paper as well?
Oh, absolutely. She had gotten, like, distracted. It's a good thing I did before I said what I was about to say. There's sort of a postscript. And now I feel a little bit better.
This one's much more like hastily written on scrap paper rather than the other one that was clearly like well penned and like errors were corrected.
And it was addressed to me specifically?
It was addressed to a Linnea.
Ah. Fair. Fair. She knows it's not her. It's fine.
She got so excited for a second.
And then there's absolutely did. Actually, I think she's gonna hold up the little rolled up paper and say, and I think he's heard of me, private detective extraordinaire, because it says Linnea. Wait. No. It's probably the other Linnea. It's fine. It's fine. This one says, that letter had to be approved by the church, you understand. They don't need to know the other reason I have concerns. My dear friend, Justina Johansson, has taken up employment on Wrecker Isle, and I'm quite afraid that she was brought there against her will and forced to work at the inn. I'm very worried for her safety. What I was going to say is, of course, we should probably go to Wrecker Isle and, warn people that there's some people kind of coming to get them. But now I don't know. Because sort of last time we dealt with the church, it didn't go so well for a number of reasons. But thoughts, opinions? Coffee, maybe?
How about we go to break, let this percolate, and we'll get our characters' reactions to your new mission when we come back. When I also feel I'm going to thoroughly enjoy the fact that Eva and Linnea forgot to do their mental recovery roll before we found the mystery.
Sure did.
Oh no.
See you in 15 minutes. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Just before the break, Eva beautifully read a letter in character and a little appendix, and was reminded that she forgot to roll for her mental conditions, and we have now started officially the next mystery. So please mark on your sheet that angry is now a permanent condition, and bear in mind that this means a -1 to all your rolls that are based on your mental stats.
Perfect. Love that for me.
Me too. I like, should I remind you? I'm like, we talked about this an hour ago. Surely this will end well.
When we talked about it at the beginning, right before we started.
Right before, yeah.
Yep. Where I said, if you do this, I'll allow it before the next mystery begins.
Something ADHD. It's fine.
Fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. Anywho, you were all about to discuss your very exciting new mission that you might ignore. Who knows? I don't know about you guys.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of faces here. They still like us, is what I'm saying. Like, the last one didn't go so poorly that we're not still getting stuff. So
Miss Linnea,
good on us. Yes.
perhaps we should contact the...
One moment. This is it. This is us. Is it too early? Like, where's the excitement? Now, yes, I know there's a whole, like, do we want to help the church that is being, like, kind of, we don't have a great history there. Some of us more than others. And it sounds kind of like maybe they are being not so great to some other people. But someone is dead. So that's kind of a mystery. And someone is possibly in danger, who is maybe innocent. Could go either way. So thoughts, feelings, coffee?
I've had my tea for this morning, but I think we should probably prepare and maybe get some equipment and maybe look at a map and see where we're going. Get a little bit more information, that's all.
Yeah, off the top, does Linnea know how close this fishing place is to the greater Uppsala region?
You have absolutely no idea.
Cool.
perhaps we should contact the correct Linnea first.
She might have more information. That's absolutely right.
To whom was... Did this just say to whom it may concern, or does it have, like, the castle's address on it?
Both. It says to whom it may concern, and then Castle Gyllencruetz and the Adams.
But she doesn't live here. This is for us. Or Rollo, maybe. She's gonna look up at wherever his room presumably is. This sounds possibly urgent. Like, do you know where she is?
Do we know where she is?
Oh, God, no.
And Linnea's staring straight at Frederick because Frederick does tend to know a lot of things when asked
that he doesn't
directly.
Yeah.
He's not known for volunteering information.
Honesty, not transparency.
Would I know where she is?
You would have no idea.
Right.
Okay. We do have someone that worked with Lady Linnea, not Miss Linnea. We could always ask Mr. Frisk if he might be familiar with the names.
Yes, good.
Did they say that they visited the castle at one point in time? Yeah, during my studies at Uppsala. So maybe he's been here before? This Oscar?
It sounds like he at least knows people around here. Maybe
He knows of the society, that's for sure. And what we do.
And Miss Linnea, as a detective, wouldn't you not consider it wise to find out information from all the contacts of a possible lead?
Oh, absolutely. I just also think, you know, if it's going to take quite a while to track down Madame Linnea, we should balance that with the message at hand.
I mean, we could write her and then pack everything and get ready. And
Absolutely.
then we could tell her where we're going, and she could send a letter to meet us.
Omric is going to fetch Mr. Frisk and bring him to the library.
There is some grumbling, but of course he will join you in the library.
We just have some questions. Part of this letter that we received went to Madame Linnea, and we have no idea where we can reach her at for further clarification.
Yes, I can see how you would have difficulty pinning her down. She's usually out and about on society business. Last I heard, she was heading to Poland.
She must have some sort of forwarding.
We use dead drops. She'll get a message somewhere in the next month if you send it to her.
Miss Linnea has the best handwriting. I think maybe she should write something for Madame Linnea. Just kind of giving her a heads up of what's going on, and maybe she can drop something by as far as a clue later.
We need a map. We need travel plans. We need a general plan. We need to know if we have any contacts in the area.
Correct.
We need to know anything we can about this Mr. Holmgren. Something else. Travel funds, I imagine. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing anything?
Are you saying all of this while Frisk is around?
Yeah. Just kind of thinking out
Absolutely.
loud.
Yeah.
Do you mean Oscar Holmgren?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know him?
Do you know him? Jinx.
Just gonna do the
I believe he had contacts with our society years ago at this point. He studied in Uppsala.
Do you know who around here would still know him?
And he also looks towards Rollo's room.
That's what I thought.
Right.
I was not involved in his actual studies. I merely escorted him in and out. Also, I was only in the castle once. Rollo preferred to not receive visitors here.
Fair.
So he came often or not that often?
He's been here once, but Rollo visited him often.
Oh, I see. Is he somebody that Rollo obviously trusted?
I would not dare to presume. I'm sure the information that went from Rollo to Mr. Holmgren was limited.
Does Rollo room unlock?
Yes, he's staying in it.
Well, maybe it's time we go see if he keeps some personal journals lying around.
And Frisk looks. Master Comric already took those.
Oh,
Linnea went from staring like wide-eyed, "What are you doing?" at Astrid, and just shifts that over to Comric.
I'm just saying we could look only at the years that are relevant and see if he mentions Oscar in them at all.
Yes, I've been going through that, and I can go through that for that information. It was on his personal effects when we were back on the island, and I've just been holding on to it, kind of adding stuff to it as we go along. But yeah, I'll go ahead and check and see if there's anything about Oscar Holmgren.
I mean, it wouldn't be in his most recent one. I'm wondering if maybe he keeps all of his old journals. It's a very common thing to do when you have a house.
Yeah, having.
Normally in like cupboards. I like how Anniek's just looking off like she's ignoring.
I'm not involved in this conversation.
Thank you.
I haven't heard any direct questions.
But Mr. Frisk would. Mr. Frisk.
Mr. Frisk is also, because apparently he outed you, he is now staying out of this and he is rifling through some papers and producing a map.
I ask him. Oh, thank you.
Astrid's going to ask Frisk, do you know what years, so we don't have to invade all of Rollo's privacy if we can find the journals?
I mean, the time for that has passed, but...
I didn't read the other one. I only opened Comric's mail.
That same Whiskey Tango Foxtrot look is going to go back to Astrid.
You knew about that already, Linnea.
I did, but that doesn't mean...
It doesn't make it better.
It was for his own good. I was making sure it wasn't cursed. And now I'm the one
And yet,
cursed.
here we are. It was cursed as fuck and you nearly died.
She's just going to start looking at the map and not ignoring the map, but...
I do have a compass and an astrolabe, so...
Yeah.
Or are they cursed too?
The astrolabe might be. I believe I was wandering around the island alone when I found it. So there's that.
Pretty sure.
But yeah, a map.
Who
would
is ever
definitely-
truly alone in this game?
Yeah, you're never really alone. Anniek is always watching. And listening. So what else? Does anybody have like a light source or anything, like a lantern, or? Because I imagine.
I assume there's light, like lamps.
You
in the
have
light-
some lamps in the library.
Going to. Hold on now. If we're gonna go to Wrecker's Isle, then I don't know how. Is there gonna be a reputable place to stay? I don't know. So I'm gonna look more into the actual places that we're headed to.
Mr.
To
Frisk,
find-
are you, by any chance, familiar with this area?
No, ma'am, but I have found a map for you. So I've uploaded a hopefully higher resolution map in the Discord because the one I have in Roll20 is very hard to read at this point. But I will mark it in the Roll21 as well. So bright pink is where you are. And other bright pink is roughly where you're going.
Okay. So
We will also be uploading these maps to our Vaesen website now that we don't have a map cam.
We will have a map cam. I was just told
Soon.
we wouldn't need it today. So
Look. I was told you would never be fast enough. And yet here we are.
Are we the little pink one?
You're currently
Right,
at the little
yeah.
pink one and you're traveling towards the large pink swirl because you're not sure where in that archipelago you're supposed to be. It's a really large area.
Cool.
Mm.
I will put this map on the YouTube. You just wait.
Yeah, you'll show me.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I'm gonna check out the map and Rollo's journal to see if I can find any information that might assist us on our mystery gathering.
So
Um,
with Frisk's help and the because a few years ago it was a pretty roomy interpretation, but you know, with Frisk going five or 7 years ago, sort of in that general area, you can find a few entries on Mr. Holmgren. Less in depth than he wrote about, well, basically you people when he met you.
mhm.
But he doesn't seem very impressed by him, but he also like doesn't mind him. It was just more of a, you know, he'd hoped for someone a little more, but he was very much unconvertible and stayed Christian. But in general, not a bad guy. Which from Rollo is high praise.
Is there anything written about this Miss Johansson?
No, just a general remark that in Rollo's typical fashion that he's suspected that Mr. Holmgren might have some issues with certain vows required of the priesthood.
Mm.
Linnea will start, since we've kind of locked down the map situation, she'll start, writing a general note to Madame Linnea, kind of outlining the request, and copying out the specific postscript that was added to her as just sort of a, here's the context, this is what's going on, this was for you. And
I mean, it would be, with what you've read in the journal, it would strike you as interesting that he would have delivered this note to Linnea rather than Rollo.
Mhm.
Probably because he could feel some of the judgment coming from Rollo about certain things.
Our mentor, judgmental?
Yeah.
In my session 1 notes, it explicitly says he doesn't like us. Oh, no.
He did.
He is not impressed with us, excuse me.
I mean,
How long are we gonna be, like, are we leaving today?
are you? I mean, at this
Astrid.
point, it's up to you.
Astrid asked in general.
Okay.
Linnea, having no sense of irony, will say, what could a day hurt for us to make sure we're properly prepared? I think by the time everything is gathered and sorted, based on the map, how long would it take to get there?
Provided you manage to get sufficient funds.
Transportation.
Yeah, you're looking stagecoach, boat stagecoach, so several days, but not weeks.
I think it's worth outfitting ourselves properly, and not being too hasty, and leaving at night is just, I think, bad luck. So, tomorrow at the earliest?
I'm gonna go back to bed then. And Comric, we have a seance to do later.
Comrade, what was that look? Do you not believe in luck? I find that very hard to believe.
Oh no, I believe in luck just fine. Just traveling at night would
Leaving at night, there's a difference.
Oh, okay. All right.
Embarking on a journey at night.
I see what you're saying.
Astrid's gonna go to bed, and then she's going to get up and prep herbs to take with her.
Okay. If you, at this point, the gardener hasn't arrived yet, so you're going to have to roll for it yourself rather than just getting the 3 weak doses or the 1 strong one.
Okay. You want me to roll now or later?
Might as well now.
I roll medicine, I am assuming?
Are you going to be using these for medicinal purposes?
Yes.
Then yes.
Are you saying we do not get the benefit of the greenhouse despite having upgraded it? Or are you just saying
No, for the gardener. I think.
thematically the gardener has not arrived yet?
Thematically, the gardener's not arrived. Otherwise, she wouldn't be rolling anyway.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yes, my child.
I rolled 5 dice and I got 5 sixes.
Wow.
Nice.
I have no idea what's going on with my dice, but they're never allowed to touch any of my other dice.
Yes.
I'm just very excited because this generally means that when it matters, they're going to fuck you over.
Yep.
Which I love for you. And me. Mainly me. Alright,
Oh goodness.
Alright, let's say with 5 successes you can pick either 2 healing options and 3 poisons, or 3 healing options and 2 poisons.
I'm gonna pick 3 healing options, 2 poisons, because I already have that like stomach stuff made and hemlock. So I'm just gonna count those as my 2 poison. And then I'm gonna prep comfrey. We already agreed that the life everlasting one
Wouldn't be done yet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna prep Lady's Mantle, Heal All, and Comfrey.
Okay.
Because that's a good variety.
Then you have 1 dose each of those plants. You can use them later. Okay. Other preparations.
I feel like I'd prepare like the equipment for the trip, anything that we would need as far as camping supplies or just anything that we might need.
Okay.
Rations for the road, rope.
Yep. Just very general preparations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Linnea?
Linnea is going to scout around if trying to secure or help secure funds, if no one has made them, or...
Yeah, there are currently no travel funds available. Frisk is using his society allowance basically to keep the castle running.
Sure.
But if you want to, you can either try to impersonate a society member at the bank, or you can go as yourself and use your family's reputation to get some credit. So your family has a resource level of 7, which is stupid.
I think that's what she'll do. There will be a brief moment where she considers impersonating Madame Linnea, but...
Right, because you can definitely look like an 80-year-old
She's a vampire. She looks great.
There is going to be the whole, she's actually probably been here at some point, so maybe not.
Right.
So, yeah, she'll go the family route. And see.
How do you go about this? Bearing in mind your mother's warning. Now that you're using the family name.
Probably as a presenting it as like a personal loan for her own I guess not living expenses, but like nothing associated with the society. Something.
No, the problem is because mainly if you're looking at if you're like, oh, I need a new dress, blah blah, you get an account at the shop.
Right.
So you're going to have to come up with something to get like cash from the bank, rather than somewhere where you could get an account.
I'm thinking maybe as like a but pretty much everything is on credit. What a terrible time to be alive.
So you're going to have to come up with an actual proper lie as a rich private detective. Woe is you.
It's like, don't like that music shift.
Look, you bought an upgrade, I get a threat. That's how it works.
That's true.
That's, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think just, travel expense. I mean, it's true. It's what it's for. Sort of like a, grand tour with, having to pay for appropriate lodgings and appropriate food, board, all that, appropriate befitting her station, actual travel, the carriages, the
Oh yeah, you couldn't be seen in a hostel at this point.
no, the staff that goes along with that, all that stuff. But also, I think, kind of inspired by that, she would go into perhaps a clothing shop and
Get some stuff on credit.
Get some stuff on credit and well-made, probably a little too fancy for what needs doing, but well-made travel clothes that she knows she will also be able to like move in a fishing village, even though she's not going to say that.
No, but it's very much a Wealth Whispers level of everything's perfectly tailored and very well made and nothing is ostentatious.
And I think she would also probably, instead of getting like a full suite of clothes for herself, get a few things that are more subdued that would also be able to be future tailored for Astrid, just while she's there.
Okay. I mean, at the clothing shop or at the seamstress, you wouldn't even have to mention your name. They know who you are when you come in, and of course your family has an account, so you just say whatever you want, basically.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind everything goes back to your mother at some point.
Absolutely, which is why she's making sure it's on like the upper end of like, she's not getting pants. She's not, no offense, Astrid. She's not getting, hiking boots, but like the more practical.
You're allowed hiking boots. Ladies can hike.
That's true. That's true.
But in a split skirt, not in pants.
Right.
Astrid already has pants.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, things.
But Linnea has new. You can add a fair amount of clothing to your sheet. And as for getting a loan at the bank, we don't have to roleplay the full thing, but I do want a roll, and I want you to roll manipulation.
Manipulation.
Because you are lying your adorable ass off.
But do I get like partial credit for it being mostly true? Because it is mostly true. It's just like an angle that is not, because it is for travel. That is 100% true.
Mm-hmm. It is. The thing is, it is very strange that you would go to the bank rather than your mother. So you're kind of against. You're against tradition at this point. I'm not giving you disadvantage because of your family.
Is empathy mental?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Alright, fine. Since it's directly below the mic, I am going to mute my roll.
Oh no, we love the sound of rolling dice. At least I do.
The clickety clacks.
Shiny math rocks.
I have 1-6.
1-6. So let's say, yes, they will give you travel funds. I'm going to give you, the player, a choice. You either get a modest amount of travel funds, because you're saying Grand Tour, so soon you and a staff member, and not enough for 4 people.
Sure.
Or if you want more than that, you need someone to co-sign from your family.
Oh.
It's either resources level 4 or resource level 6.
Resource level is on what page? Just so I can...
75. 73. I need to look at the PDF and not the PDF reader.
Mm-hmm. Resource level 4 is stable, or... I think...
You could do it with 4, but it would be scraping.
And the only family member is my mother in town.
That is currently in town, unless you want to take time to travel to your family's estate and sweet talk your dad. Your sister isn't allowed to sign with you.
No, I imagine not.
You could get like your uncle, but he's also not in Uppsala.
Where between point A and point B is the old family estate?
Yeah, no, ye old family estate is more northerly. And you're heading pretty much due west.
Yeah. I think I'm going to write to my mother. No, I'll go to the townhouse.
I also have a proposition ongoing on the behalf of the society as Rollo's understudy, going to deceive the bank into giving us some funds for the society.
These are separate journeys.
Separate journeys.
Entirely,
But
like
I'm
different
here for
day,
it.
different outfit, different
Right.
branch manager.
Absolutely.
Never
absolutely.
met each other. Okay. So Linnea, are you writing your mom, or are you going to the townhouse, or are you? What exactly is the?
I have to make my decision before Comric's deception.
Yes.
I mean, you started before me. So.
I
Also,
did.
I was like, you were so specific in your entirely separate journeys. I wouldn't assume you would be able to communicate with each other whether or not you succeeded or failed before the other had their attempt.
Because I do feel like we would have communicated like our plan, like, oh hey, I'm going to the bank.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, you know what the other's up to, but you
Yeah.
don't know if it worked.
Well, in either way, if Comric
we would
can,
not want to be there at the same time.
Right. But if Comric can, like,
you know, just arrive in the same carriage and then pretend you never met.
if he can get like in as
No,
Rollo's
this
understudy,
is just a ride share.
that's still important. No, I will ask Frederick to help me look all proper, and I will send a message ahead or whatever, you know, asking to meet, and then I will go in person and be the beautiful daughter, because I feel like that's more appropriate.
All right. Well, Sarah isn't here, so I will simply roll for Elise, because I do have a character sheet because I made the character.
Sure thing.
Do you want? I'm assuming this is still heavily leaning on a manipulation check.
I mean, I would assume so. I mean,
All right. Then this is an opposed roll. I'm not going to tell you how many dice I get, but I hope you have a lot.
for manipulation.
Yes. As I observe you with my empathy.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm asking. I'm not trying to be like coercive.
But are you being perfectly
gun to her
honest
head.
what it's for?
I think at this point, yes. I mean, I will still like try and cut out some of the like dodgier
Honesty,
aspects.
not transparency, as it was put previously.
Well, I'm not gonna like name names necessarily, and I will probably play down the whole like weird like church versus locals aspect again. But you know, there is someone possibly in trouble on the island, per the postscript, and she probably knows half of this anyway because she probably has spies in the postal service.
Of course she does.
Um,
Alright, so what you're saying, you'd rather roll inspiration than manipulation.
this is gonna be a
Because
hilarious.
those are your two choices.
No, I guess we're back to manipulation because I have no inspiration. Fine.
Natural born liar it is.
She can't help it.
Alright, I have rolled for your mother.
Okay, whatever my mother rolled, it's fine, I get it, I accept it. I did get 2 6s, and I have to say, I feel like that's doing really well for Linnea at this point.
It is doing really well for Linnea at this point. Your mother has 3 6s.
Naturally.
Because she has an ungodly amount of dice for this.
Naturally.
Because she is a matriarch socialite.
Yes.
She's willing to make you a deal.
Yes.
Travel funds for you and your friends. Saying the words hurt a little, but your friends.
Yeah.
But you and you write to Johan while you're away without being rude about it.
Linnea is, I think maybe I know her 6s don't really count for anything because Elise...
They do, because otherwise you wouldn't have gotten shit.
Oh, good. Okay. I was going to say, because she was sort of planning on doing that anyway, just to, like, keep up the, like, goodwill with Elise. So,
yeah.
I think it's
the
going to be one of those,
specifics is
like,
just, proper
yes.
letters, not...
Yes. I think I can bring myself to do that. I think that would only be fair and right.
Well, I suppose if you're going to be doing these things, it matters more that you conduct yourself properly while doing them.
Thank you.
And, your mother also doesn't want you to sleep in a hostel, because you can consider yourself well off during this ministry.
Excellent. She will leave with the warmest socially acceptable goodbye. Or more, I should say, like, appropriate to their relationship goodbye. Because at home, like, it's whatever.
I mean, it kind of depends on you. Elise is very much... like, she's not some cold-hearted mob boss. Like, if you're at...
she'll kiss her cheek or whatever.
Exactly. Your relationship has been a little meh, but if you're willing to go in for the hug, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Also, I had to laugh because when I said yes to listening to her offer, the way I said it, I could hear my own actual mother in my ear saying, like, what's with that tone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no. It's fine. I didn't mean to have a tone, but I could still, like,
it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
Exactly. Or in this case, it's what she said and not how she said it. All right. So, Comric at the bank. Tell me more.
Okay, so Comric goes a deep dive, goes in Rollo's journal, looking for any clues that would kind of give him what is the proper procedure for requesting any funds for the home. Would go to Rollo's closet. He's been basically pulling clothes out of there to look like he belongs.
It's basically your second closet at this point.
Right. Gets dressed in semi-formal attire and heads off to the bank.
Okay, so point of order. Having read Rollo's journals, etc., there is, like, you're going to have to do a fair amount of bullshitting because they have, like, a list of approved people who can borrow on behalf of the castle.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to talk to Mr. Frisk also.
I was about to say, if you're going to do this, you might want to have a little word with Mr. Frisk about
Yeah.
getting these things sorted, because Frisk is listed. That's how he gets his monthly funds for the castle.
Right. So I would like to find Mr. Frisk in the castle before I leave.
Can you roll me 2d6, please?
Okay.
The number on each die, please.
3 and a 1.
Okay. You find Mr. Frisk at like a rather dusty corner of the library, where he is seated at a chessboard.
Oh.
And he's playing white.
Oh. Can I join you, Mr. Frisk?
I'm sorry, there's a game in progress.
Do I see anybody sitting across from him?
No. He doesn't like visitors. And at this point, you're still considered a visitor to him.
Correct.
I'm sure he'll make your acquaintance at some point.
Understandable. I did have a couple questions as far as fundraising for ventures doing society work through the bank.
Yes. Well, we have an account where the society deposits the monthly funds that I then withdraw. The castle itself as such, I suppose we could ask for additional loan to patch it up quicker.
Would that be something
we don't
that's
have a lot of collateral.
understandable? We were just looking for something to help us out during the travel to this next
Yes.
outing, if you
Yes,
would.
it is unfortunate that your new overseer hasn't arrived yet.
I was planning to go down and talk to the bank.
Perhaps if you phrase this in advance, the funds have been steadily coming for years. Surely they can give us next month's allowance in advance. And exactly, and then by then I'm sure whoever is coming up from Rose House will be here and can get everything sorted.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Frisk, and good day to both of you.
As you say that, you see one of the pawns move on the floor.
Beautiful. All right. So he's gonna head down to the bank.
With the extra help from Frisk and the hints he gave you, and like the name on the account. And the account has a very steady history, like nothing weird's ever happened. They're willing to give you a month's extra, which means they'll simply deduct it from the next payment, which would put you at 2 additional resource levels.
Oh.
For this specific mystery.
Excellent.
So for this mystery, you're rolling in it. For next month / mystery, you might be destitute. Depending on if the person from Rose House comes through or not.
And how long it takes them to get there. It takes them 4 months to get there, and we're just...
Exactly. At some point, Linnea might need mother's money to pay for the castle.
I say we raise money and we start our own school.
Are we...
School for gifted orphans.
What happened to the orphanage?
Are we all aware of Rose House, or is this the first any of us have heard of it?
That's the first you've heard of it.
Okay, so...
But when you were inducted in the society, you were aware that there were different chapters of the society around the globe. So the fact that there is a London chapter is perfectly reasonable, because why wouldn't there be?
Okay.
All right.
Frederick, what's plans, stipulations?
I don't know. Considering everything that going around, Frederick is just, getting things together, making sure we have proper, at least Frederick and Linnea at least have proper gear for heading towards the coast.
Oh yeah, like Linnea took you shopping. She would not have gone alone. Okay.
Gosh, yeah.
If there's nothing anyone else wants to specifically do at the castle before you leave,
I want
yes,
to
Eva?
post that letter to Linnea, Madam Linnea. Okay.
Her last name is Elfclint, if it helps anything. If you just want to call her like Miss Elfclint.
That would be great. Could you put that in chat for me, please?
Yes, it's also on the site, but I will add it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So in the letter, the summary, like a non-KG summary of the original letter. I guess she could just copy the whole thing out. She'd have time. And the postscript. She would inform Linnea of where they're going. And also an update on Rollo, because I don't think anyone has mentioned that to Linnea yet. As far as...
Yeah, I don't think anyone mentioned that to her either.
I mean, I would like to think Mr. Frisk did, but whatever. Probably not his job. So,
I was about to say, he has a lot of other things to do.
Yeah, so, there would just be like hey, bare bones, this is what happened last week on Vaesen.
You sent him a link to the YouTube playlist.
Yeah. And, hey, currently he's being cared for by this doctor. This is the current prognosis. If there's anything you know of to help, but also, like, if we don't come back, just be aware that Rollo's drooling away up in the castle. And I think maybe appreciate your help, and your appreciate your help, any assistance or advice would be appreciated, and then if they have figured out like where they are probably staying in this town, like she would leave a forwarding address. But yeah, basically.
Bertie kicks it off. Okay, you give this letter to Frisk. He will make sure it gets to... He's going to make a few copies because they're never sure which dead drop Linnea is going to be closest to. But basically, like, the dead drop's near where she said she'd go. But considering the fact that she does pretty much the recruiting for the society, she goes wherever someone is rumored to have the site.
Would like a little talk with Linnea. Maybe like so Miss Linnea, do you think this would be a proper adventure to possibly invite the dull Mr. Nordstrom along to see if how he fares in your environment?
That's interesting thinking. I would be curious, as much as I'm not super enthusiastic about having him around all the time.
It would show effort on your part.
It would. However, last time we did get into a bit of a scrape, and not all of us made it out unscathed. And
Is it a positive or a negative for bringing him?
no, negative. No, negative. But I do like the thought. I'm thinking if this goes well, maybe next time, he does like to hunt, but he doesn't shoot.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
He
I'm not
hunts but does
entirely
not
sure what his
shoot.
pros would be, really, in the field. But perhaps I can deduce that through our correspondence, by which I mean just ask him. There's not a lot of deduction there. I feel like the more people we have, kind of the greater risk we run. And I can see that being either a pro or a con, but I feel like until we know kind of other pros and cons, it's best to not have him potentially meddling in our business.
Very true. We would not want him to be another Rollo.
No.
Forever betrothed, never married.
Rollo's betrothed?
No, but
I didn't know. Oh,
you
that's so sad.
no, Miss Linnea, no.
Okay. Well, now I'm confused. But
It just suggests. I was implying that if something happened to Mr. Nordstrom, it'd be like you'd always be waiting for him, but he would be there stuck in bed, not being able to do anything. Quite unfortunate.
It would be very unseemly to pursue new ties, at least for quite a while. But I do look good in black. Things to think on. I think we're in no hurry of that at the moment.
Good to know.
You'll tell me if there's a hurry, right? As far as I know, there's no hurry.
I mean, I was not informed or told to hurry, so no.
As far as I know, we have 2 weeks until I need to be back. Assuming that this outdoor concert is happening somewhere in the Uppsala region.
Yes. Well, luckily we are always on time, so.
Sometimes a little more narrow of a margin than perhaps is ideal. But yes, so far we've been always on time.
I mean, taking into account travel, 2 weeks is plenty time, right?
Yeah, how much quote-unquote free time does that give us? Me, specifically. I guess it doesn't really impact anyone else.
What do you mean with free time exactly?
Well, I have a date in 2 weeks.
You do.
We have travel time there and back.
Yeah, your travel time is 3 or 4 days.
So a week.
So, a week just traveling and a week to solve wherever you're going. Also, for the rest of the players, I am seeing your Discord messages, but for some reason my keyboard has decided to fuck me over, so... And answers will be forthcoming when I can type again. So you have about a week to fix things.
Cool. Linnea is going to stock up on her little notebooks. Bullets? ?
Probably smart.
I normally wouldn't assume I needed to say that, but I know better. So, make sure her revolver is clean and all that. And then she, I believe, has her own pocket money. She has a resource level of 4, right?
Yes. Well, it is assumed you'll split it with the group a little bit because
Sure.
some of your friends have distinctly fewer resource levels.
But she does have some of her own funds, like.
Yeah, you do have some. Yeah, like you have pin money.
Yeah.
Which what you consider an adequate amount of pin money would last a common family for, like a year if they're careful. Because you're ridiculous.
She would, right before they leave, like to leave a little envelope, I guess for both of them. But, because I assume Mr. Funmeyer it's apparent that he does something around the place, right?
Yep.
She would
Hang
like
on,
to leave
plugging my keyboard in and out.
envelope.
Keep talking, I can hear you. You're leaving 2 envelopes with some money.
Yes, just addressed to each of them, thanking them for their assistance. Probably a little bit more for Mr. Frisk because he's been exceedingly helpful preparing for this specific adventure. Just sort of like a tip, essentially, like a bonus is a better word, I think.
A gratuity.
Gratuity, yes. Yes. And I think that probably does it for her.
And Frederick is going to make sure, considering last time, make sure to get themselves a med kit.
Very good. You and Astrid bump into each other as you're shopping for the same thing. So I will leave it up to you to decide if you want to share a med kit or if you want to buy 2 of them.
Do you have any medical experience, or should just the person who's been studying medicine do it?
So are you saying you would be in charge of medicine?
Well, I'm the only one who knows how to make it and find herbs and stuff that we can use as medicine.
Very well put. 2 medkits, please.
With the funding that has been secured, it is easy to buy 2 medkits.
Astrid is also going to pick up some liquor to use as a disinfectant.
So high-proof liquor. Potato vodka.
Yeah, like not the.
If you drink it, you go blind.
Yes, but also like, not that I know what germs are. It's just heavily acknowledged that you pour liquor over wounds at this time. I'm just saying.
It's just something you do.
Yes, because germs are technically not discovered yet.
No, but evil spirits could enter a wound.
Tasty spirits.
Don't forget to bring a bottle of leeches and
No.
Copious amounts of opium.
I lied.
Oh no.
I know.
What did you do?
Linnea would also, because they do have a long journey, and Rollo's journals seem to be kind of covered, she's going to look either in the castle library, or if there happens to be one in town, or the bookshop or something. She is going to look for information on either the town, like region they're going to, Wrecker Isle, and also like herring fishing.
Herring, nice.
She's gonna do some research on.
How did you? So you would get, because you have a library in the castle, you can look for things pertaining to the mystery before you leave.
Whoa.
So you don't even have to roll for this. It is given to you if you look for it in your own personal library. So the bad news is you don't find a lot about Wrecker Isle because it's a really long way away and kind of meaningless.
Sure.
But when it comes to Fjällbacka, the region it's in, it's mainly a fishing area. About 200 years ago that it was properly settled. It is now considered the main hub for herring fishing along the entire west coast. The main issue in the area is always it's hard to predict what the herring will do. It'll either be a rich year or a very poor year, and it's hard to predict. They have been in an incredibly long upswing. Like recent years, the amount of herring has been notable. You also learn that herring is commonly known as the silver of the sea because it is incredibly valuable as a food source.
Well, Ashford's in town. Can she pick up enough, like, not good food, but like emergency ration food that she can store at the bottom of her bag in case they get stuck anywhere? Yes. So, like...
It is bland, it is tasteless, it'll dry your throat out, but it will keep you alive.
I say like 2 meals per person on the team.
Okay. Like... Linnea and Comric have you well covered when it comes to money.
Well, then I'll say a day's worth of food for each one of us.
Perfect. I will also point out to Linnea that Comric didn't clear up his books when he was done in that library because you could have stormed in with your letter and he already wandered off to find breakfast. And Mr. Frisk makes it a point not to put away books for people because he assumes like long-term research in process.
Smart.
And you don't mess with someone's system, even if it doesn't seem to be a system. It probably is somehow. So if you could make a learning check for me, that would be good.
Yes. Oh, it's.
See if you can find a theme in these books.
What am I learning? Of course. All right. That's a no.
That's a no.
Yeah. But
he was looking for something before the letter even arrived. We have a hard time telling what like the thread that he's looking for is.
I would like to, like, in the back of my like current notebook, just write down the titles.
Okay. I will text them to you.
Perfect. Are there any like dog-eared pages or anything?
Comric, are you the type to dog-ear library books? Because then we're gonna have words.
Jeez.
Do you have dog-ear library books? What are you?
Do not.
I'm just saying, Americans. Who knows?
I mean, that's.
You would definitely find.
Oh, you said the quiet part out loud.
You would definitely find scrap pieces of paper that were ripped up and shoved in certain pages. Yes, but not dog-eared. I would definitely put markers where I needed to.
Okay. So the markers are near passages concerning sea monsters.
I think should make a note of that also. And then probably get distracted with other more relevant things that
like herring.
Like herring. It's fascinating.
Isn't it just? All right. So, general preparations done. You have 30 seconds.
Okay, so I want to go to like a CD bar in my regular clothes and see if I can find anything about this herring baron, Zacharias Amundsen, and see if there was maybe any talks about that as I'm looking for a job. Manipulating and or deceiving somebody into thinking that I'm going there to be a scoundrel myself.
Okay. So the main problem is people barely heard of the area.
Gotcha.
They're very much, you know what, good for you. You go. I wouldn't want it. You're gonna smell bad for a month. It's like you don't learn any more than was in Udgren's letter. Like there's someone who's getting disgustingly rich off of the hard labor of other people who are doing the actual fishing. His creepy mother runs an inn, and it's not a decent place to go. But if you want to go there for work, you go there. You can probably get work.
That actually says quite a bit.
Provided you work hard enough, they don't care about the rest of you.
All right.
Okay.
Mechanical question, real quick, Anniek.
Yes.
Do we have to?
Oh no, rules.
Like,
I don't know the rules.
Do we need to, like, if we used our memento in the last one, do we need to up it again or like fix it?
You do. You have to reconnect with it before you set off.
When Astrid is making her a medicine, can she make more sleeping pill?
Yes.
Okay.
And Comric switched his memento, so he's also good.
Linnea, as she's wandering around she's probably going room by room, seeing if there's anything useful for this.
In Castle Gyllencruetz?
Yeah, I mean, like, the main rooms.
I was about to say, there's a lot of rooms.
Just, like...
most of them in danger of collapsing on top.
Not those rooms.
Okay.
And just, like, kind of making a shopping list, kind of like, okay, well, food and all that. But I think when, in the seance room, I think, because that used to be the parlor, there's a, I want to say it was a globe that had some liquor in it. There's definitely
yeah, it's one of those globes that you can flip open to make a liquor. They're very hip. Most people have them at this point.
Yeah.
Making them gauche, of course.
Well, naturally. I think she's gonna, like, think back onto, you know, the first time that they were all gathered in that room and Rollo offered them a drink, and she's just gonna slide the top of the globe back and refill her
monogrammed flask.
Yes. Couldn't remember the word
The
for
one
flask, but it's 2 words.
I was so, like, your mother. It's extra poignant because your mother, of course, has a matching one.
That'd be sure weird because I just remembered where I got it from. Sure hope she doesn't. That's weird.
Who's to say?
Don't like that.
Who is to say?
Just when I'm starting to feel all warm and fuzzy about Elise.
I mean, you can absolutely keep feeling warm and fuzzy about Elise. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Nope, it's
At
fine.
all. It's fine.
Anyway,
you can trust your mom.
Can I assume that helps me reconnect with the...
Yes. With the yes.
We have to go do the creep thing in the basement next to the statue.
I was going to do that next week before you officially embark.
Okay.
Because yes, you do have to do the creep thing.
I just didn't want to get in trouble for not remembering.
I'm sure Frisk would have stopped you at the door.
Yeah.
To help
Aren't you
remember
forgetting
at this
something,
point.
Seth?
Aren't you forgetting something? I remember.
Good memory,
wanted to
though,
do
Baker.
one
Many points to
thing.
Baker for remembering.
I still wanted to do one thing before heading out. I don't know if I have any actual contacts, but can I find out if I do have contacts and send them a message, like possible? See if I can get more information on who this Mr. Nistrom is, aside from what I've been told.
Okay. I mean, yes, this is you have like I won't go on underground network. You have like a servant network.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just ask other people who work for rich families.
Okay.
But it's likely that information will be waiting when you return.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. So for next week, the creed, the setting off, and during your travels, you can do one more thing to give you an actual advantage during the next mystery. So feel free to sit and think about that a tiny little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a change, we won't end on a cliffhanger. We will simply end on a well-prepared group who is totally going to nail the next mystery with absolutely no deaths or injuries or other issues. Right?
We solved it. The herring or the silver of the sea. Thank you and good night.
She said the title. We're done. Look, I did get a mermaid tattoo for nothing.
Was that our first clue?
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that was our first clue, actually.
I mean, I only texted Mikyl, I have your wife on my leg.
Totally
Which
normal.
actually made me think a little bit. I was like, he's right here. Wait, what? I think you said future wife too. And I was like,
I did.
What?
Like, work in progress. All right.
Super normal. Everything's fine.
More
Yeah.
next week with definitely super normal people playing a super normal game where nothing at all will ever go wrong. Be good to each other, be good to yourself, and we'll see you around.